Okay, we were beating the Giants, and I got big respect for him for that. Now, my the only thing that I was saying to you that I'll say here, the game today, it favors the point guards and the small players.
Of course. No
The
question.
era that I won in, the rules were geared toward the bigger players. And this reminds me of a conversation I had. I didn't have this conversation. I overheard this conversation. Wilt Chamberlain was having a conversation with Michael Jordan about who's the GOAT at that time. And at that time, everyone was saying Wilt was the GOAT. And then they started having, Jordan as the GOAT. And I'll never forget, Wilt said this, and it's at the 50 greatest thing when we joined in Cleveland.
Yeah,
Wilt said this to Jordan. He
97.
said, he said, the difference between me and you, he said, they had to change the rules for me so I couldn't dominate. And this is Wilt Chamberlain speaking. He said, they changed the rules for you, Jordan, so you can dominate. and so what I'm saying about Steph and I, right, is that, hey, okay, they changed the rules so the small man can dominate. Okay, the rules were not set up for me as a small person to dominate, and that's the difference.
No, that's great, man. And there are so many jewels. Like I said, it was basketball 101. You had great stories, man. This was outstanding. I appreciate your time.
That journey is sacred to players like Isiah. They believe it is what gives championships meaning. When LeBron made the decision, it changed everything for that generation. Players saw that power could shift away from teams and toward stars. For many fans, it was exciting. For players like Isiah, it felt like something was lost. He does not deny LeBron's greatness, but he believes the road LeBron took removed the suffering that builds legends. In Isiah's eyes, greatness should hurt before it pays off. Kevin Durant's move to Golden State bothered Isiah for similar reasons, but on an even deeper level. The Warriors had just beaten Durant's team. They were already one of the greatest teams ever assembled. Joining them felt to Isiah like skipping a chapter in the story. He does not question KD's talent. He questions the weight of those championships. To him, winning is not just about the trophy. It is about who you beat to get there. Isiah also took issue with how modern players communicate. Social media plays a huge role in this. During his career, criticism came from newspapers and television. It was slower, harsher, and harder to escape. Today, players can respond instantly. They can shape narratives in real time. Isiah believes this weakens accountability. When a player argues with fans online, he sees insecurity, not confidence. He believes true greatness does not need defending. This is where Kevin Durant became a target. KD's online presence has been well documented. He responds to critics, debates fans, and defends his choices openly. Some people admire that honesty. Isiah sees it as proof that KD cares too much for approval. In Isiah's mind, Jordan never needed validation. His dominance answered every question. LeBron's response showed how different he is from KD. LeBron chose calm. He chose distance. He chose to let his achievements speak. That response fits LeBron's brand. He is calculated. He understands the power of silence. He understands that sometimes saying less says more. Isiah likely expected a stronger emotional response, and when it did not come, the divide between
LeBron James is a much better basketball player than Michael Jordan. Now, Michael Jordan was a great scorer, and he dominated, and he did some things that, LeBron has been criticized for not doing. But when you look at what he does on the basketball floor, rebounding, assisting, and scoring, and what he did last night in that game, to me, from a leadership standpoint,
guard lists. His leadership is often overshadowed by Magic Johnson's smile and championships. So when Isiah speaks, there is pain behind his words. He wants respect for what he survived, what he endured, and what he accomplished in a ruthless era. The reaction from other former players showed that Isiah is not alone. Many feel the same way but choose to stay quiet. They see the modern NBA as too comfortable. They see friendships replacing rivalries. They see stars avoiding conflict instead of embracing it. Isiah simply said it out loud. Modern players, however, live in a different reality. The season is longer, the spotlight is brighter, the criticism is constant. LeBron has been famous since he was a teenager. Every move he makes is judged. Every loss becomes a headline. His longevity is unheard of. Playing at a high level for over 20 decades takes discipline, sacrifice, and pain. That deserves respect too. Kevin Durant's journey has also been complex. Injuries, pressure, expectations, and noise follow him everywhere. He loves the game deeply. His sensitivity comes from caring. That does not make him weak, it makes him human. The problem is that old school players see that humanity as softness, while younger fans see it as honesty. This is why the debate feels endless. Each side values different things. One side values toughness, silence, and loyalty. The other side values freedom, longevity, and personal choice. Neither side wants to give ground, because giving ground feels like admitting weakness.
The media fuels this divide because conflict sells. Clips are cut to remove context, quotes are repeated without nuance. Fans pick sides and dig in. The conversation becomes louder, but not deeper. Isiah's comments were turned into weapons instead of lessons. What gets lost is respect. Jordan respected LeBron more than people admit. LeBron respects Jordan deeply. KD respects both. But respect does not stop debate, and debate does not always stay respectful. As time goes on, this moment will be remembered as part of a larger story, a story about generations colliding, a story about how the game changed and how people struggled to accept that change. Isiah Thomas stood up and said the past matters. LeBron James stood firm and said the present matters.
Well, I'm going to say neither. Best scorer, I would say Jordan is a better scorer. Better all-around player is LeBron James. To me, the greatest player to ever play the game that I've seen is Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Arguably the best basketball career ever. From grade school to high school to college to the NBA, there has never been a more dominant player than...
And honesty. The game will keep moving forward. New stars will rise, new debates will begin, and one day LeBron and KD will be the old voices defending their era against the next generation. When that happens, this moment will make more sense. Until then, the conversation continues. Fans will argue, legends will speak, and basketball will remain a mirror reflecting how each generation defines greatness. As the noise continued to grow, it became clear that this situation was bigger than one interview or one argument. It exposed a deep emotional gap between generations of players. Isiah Thomas was not just reacting to one comment or one debate, he was reacting to years of watching the story of basketball slowly change in ways that made him uncomfortable. For him, the past is not just history, it is lived experience. Every foul, every loss, every hard practice still feels real. Isiah believes that pain is missing from today's conversations about greatness. He remembers nights where his body hurt so much that getting out of bed felt impossible. He remembers traveling without luxury, playing through injuries that would sideline players today, and never once thinking about resting because the fans came to see you play. In his era, sitting out was seen as weakness. That mindset shaped how he sees modern load management and player control. When Isiah talks about leadership, he means leading through suffering. He believes a leader absorbs pain so the team can survive. Jordan did that in his eyes. Jordan took punishment, kept coming, and made sure his teammates followed his example. Isiah does not see that same level of emotional demand placed on leaders today. He sees systems built to protect stars rather than challenge them. LeBron supporters would argue that leadership has simply evolved. LeBron leads through communication, trust, and empowerment. He lifts teammates by giving them confidence. He involves them in decisions.
Dog, I'm with you. I'm like, Zeke, no. But see, this is what happens in our world so often. Something gets a narrative or gets thought of as bad. Like right now, it's open season on the NBA. Like you can just talk bad about it because, oh, look at this, look at this, look at that. And I was like, we going to this place now where, oh, he's there before the camera crew has set up. Like TNT ain't there yet. And LeBron is there.
Isiah sees that struggle and judges it. Fans see it and sympathize. As days passed, more voices entered the conversation. Analysts broke down film, former players shared stories, fans created long threads comparing stats, rules, and eras. But none of that changed the emotional truth behind Isiah's words. He feels that something sacred is being diluted. The idea of sacrifice keeps coming up because it is personal for him. Isiah sacrificed money, health, and public image. His Pistons were hated. They were booed everywhere. They embraced that role. Winning meant accepting being the villain. Today's stars want to be loved everywhere they go. Isiah sees that as a major shift in mindset. LeBron has tried to be both loved and respected. He speaks on social issues. He builds schools. He represents more than basketball. That matters to him. Isiah respects that impact, but separates it from on-court greatness. In his mind, greatness between the lines should stand alone, untouched by branding or influence. This difference explains why the two sides keep missing each other's point. They are arguing different definitions of greatness. Isiah argues from purity of competition. LeBron argues from total impact. Kevin Durant argues from skill mastery. All of them are valid views, but they collide loudly. As time goes on, emotions will cool, but the questions will remain. Should players stay with one team to prove loyalty, or should they use freedom to win smarter? Should greatness be measured by dominance in one era or adaptability across many? Should silence be praised more than honesty? Isiah believes silence is strength. LeBron believes control is strength. KD believes expression is strength. Each reflects the world they grew up in. What is often ignored is that none of these men hate each other. The anger comes from passion, not malice. Isiah loves the game deeply. That love makes him protective. When he feels history slipping, he reacts strongly. That reaction may sound harsh, but it comes from pride. The NBA will continue to evolve. Rules will change, players will change, media will change, but the core question will stay the same. What does it mean to be great?
In that sense, this moment is necessary. It forces reflection. It forces fans to learn history instead of just highlights. It forces players to understand that legacy is not built only in numbers, but in memory. Isiah Thomas spoke because he did not want silence to rewrite the story. LeBron James responded by continuing his journey. Kevin Durant responded by defending his truth. All three chose different paths, but all three are part of the same story. Basketball is not just a game of points and wins. It is a story passed from one generation to the next. Each generation adds its own chapter. The conflict happens when one chapter feels erased by the next. This debate will fade from headlines, but it will live on in conversations, barbershops, comment sections, and podcasts. That is the beauty of the sport. It creates emotion that lasts. In the end, Isiah did not go off just to attack LeBron and KD. He went off to protect a memory of battles, bruises, and pride. Whether people agree with him or not, that memory deserves respect. The modern stars will keep shining, the legends will keep speaking, and the fans will keep choosing sides. But the game will always be bigger than any one voice.